In 1972, led by the great Gerd Müller, Bayern Munich scored 101 goals in a single Bundesliga season. That record stood for 54 years. This season's Bayern broke it with 5 games left to play. And that's just the Bundesliga. Across all competitions, Bayern registered more than 160 goals. And the reason for all of it comes down to these 3 players. This is the best front 3 in Europe right now. Harry Kane leading the attack, Luis Diaz tearing it up on the left, and Michael Olise working his magic on the right. Together, they're a nightmare to play against. They just won the Bundesliga title, chasing another Champions League trophy. And the stats for Kane, Olise and Diaz have been so impressive, you can't wonder but compare them with some of the greatest. Take you back to 2016, Messi, Suarez and Neymar set what felt like an untouchable record. 131 goals combined, breaking the 122 they had scored together just the season before. Most people assumed that was it, that nobody would come close again. Well, Kane, Olise and Diaz are not far from it. In fact, they are ranked first for attacking trios by goal contributions at this stage of the season in Europe's top 5 leagues. That number, at the time of recording, sits at 94. 94 combined goal contributions between Kane, Olise and Diaz in the Bundesliga alone, the most by any trio on record in the Bundesliga since the data collection began in 1988. The most ever in the history of German football, and that's just the league. When you dive deeper into the individuals, it gets crazier because each one of them has a story on their own. Starting with the man himself, Harry Kane. Kane has 52 goals in all competitions so far. He's the first player in the Big 5 leagues to reach 50 in a single season since Erling Haaland in 2022-23. 33 in the Bundesliga, 10 penalties scored, 100% conversion rate. 3 hat-tricks in the league this season. He reached 100 goals for Bayern in just 104 games, faster than Haaland did at City and faster than Ronaldo did at Real Madrid. But the thing that separates Kane from other elite strikers, and the thing that makes this front 3 actually function, is that he doesn't switch off when the ball isn't under his feet. He becomes the extra man in midfield when the ball isn't at his feet. Defensively, he has won more tackles than some of Bayern's midfield teammates, and blocked more shots than some of their defenders this season. His own words say it better than any stat. I enjoy defending as much as attacking. That's how my parents raised me, and that will never change. That attitude is why Kompany trusts him as the center of everything. Not just a goal scorer, but as a leader that sets an example that the whole system radiates out from. His fellow professionals look up to him as well.
You know, I think he's been a brilliant leader for us, leading up to the tournament as well as now we've started the tournament. You know, he always leads by example, and there's no better way to do it than scoring goals like he's been.
You can see how much this team looks up to him. This is a guy who's also a leader in the dressing room. But speaking of the one player almost every attack revolves around, let's talk about Michael Olise. 17 goals and 29 assists across all competitions. The most assists in all competitions among the players in Europe's top 5 leagues. He set up Kane 22 times this season alone. 22, one player to another, one league, one season. And here's where it gets genuinely historic. With less than 5 Bundesliga games remaining, Olise is 4 assists away from breaking Thomas Müller's single-season Bundesliga record of 21. A record that has stood at this club for years. But it doesn't stop there. In all competitions, he is 3 assists away from equaling Lionel Messi's all-time Champions League and Big 5 League single-season assist record of 32. 4 more to break that record. Let that sit for a second. The record held by the greatest player of all time is sitting 4 assists away from a 24-year-old who was playing at Crystal Palace 18 months ago. And the most remarkable thing, Kompany made an insane comparison just a month ago.
Talents, I don't want to compare the players because they are not the same players at all, but the mentality when I played with Kevin De Bruyne, I was lucky to watch him come through as a young player and see him become a superstar, a world star. And I saw the whole process, and it is that obsession for detail, and Michael has that it's not enough.
That comment came after Elise had torn Atalanta apart with 2 goals and 1 assist, and the Atalanta home fans applauded him off the pitch. It was the kind of performance that makes you rewind and watch it again just to confirm what you saw was real. Diaz was at the dressing room that night, and his read on Elise from the inside is the most accurate description of why records fall around him. He only needs 1 shot. That's enough for him. He's calm, doesn't argue with anyone. When the moment comes, it's easy for him. That composure is what makes him terrifying. Other players tighten in big moments. Elise just continues exactly as before. Now, Kane is the guarantee of goals, and Elise is the architecture of how they arrive. But every great attack needs a third dimension the player defenders forget about until it's too late. And in this case, it's Luis Diaz. This is the one Europe is slowest to acknowledge, and that's exactly what makes him so dangerous. 24 goals and 17 assists across all competitions. Diaz is 3rd in Europe for assists, level with Lamine Yamal, and he's averaging a goal or assist every 76 minutes in the Bundesliga. Liverpool sold him this summer and had one of their worst league seasons in years. Bayern started him from day 1 and broke a 54-year record. Now, put all 3 together. One of the 3 scores or assists in 69 of Bayern's goals through 24 Bundesliga matches. In a game where Bayern scores 3, the probability that none of them are involved approaches 0. And yet, here's the thing that doesn't get said enough. Kane didn't build this system. Elise didn't design the structure that gives him freedom to create. Diaz didn't decide he'd be the player arriving into the exact space that the other 2 vacate. Someone looked at these 3 players, understood what each of them needed to be at their absolute best, and constructed an environment where all of it could happen simultaneously. And his name is Vincent Kompany. Here's the thing about Kompany most people forget. When Bayern Munich appointed him in the summer of 2024, he had just been relegated from the Premier League with Burnley. Bayern's previous 3 managers had won the Champions League between them. Their new one had just gone down to the Championship. The eyebrows raised across European football were completely understandable. But then this happened. 100+ games, 75+ wins, 13 draws, 11 defeats, 302 goals scored, 2.41 points per game. Among all Bayern Munich managers to have taken charge for 100 or more games, Kompany has the 2nd highest win percentage, 76.7%, behind only Pep Guardiola at 77%. He's not approaching Guardiola's record. He's level with it in less than 2 years at his first major club job. But the number that tells you everything about what Kompany actually built here isn't just the win percentage, it's the goals and records. Across all competitions this season, Bayern are the top scoring side in Europe, 167 goals. His 100th game as a manager was a 2-1 win at the Santiago Bernabeu, the first time a Bayern manager had won a 90-minute match there in 25 years. The first in 25 years, at a stadium that has historically been the graveyard of Bayern's European ambitions, and Kompany did it on his 40th birthday. But here's the most important thing about what he's built. Bayern have fallen behind in 12 different Bundesliga matches this season, but through it all, they've only lost 1 of them, collecting 25 points from losing positions, a number no other team in the division comes close to. That's not about talent. Talent gets you the goals when you're already winning. What Kompany has built is a team that responds, a team that doesn't fracture when the game turns, a team that, even when the structure is stressed, knows exactly how to find its way back. He had the front 3 handed to him, you could argue. Kane was already at Bayern, Elise and Diaz were his signings, but the talent was obvious. Any good manager could put those 3 on the pitch together. The front 3 gets the credit, but make no mistake, Kompany is the reason. So Bayern have broken the Bundesliga goal record. They knocked out Real Madrid. They have the most goals of any club in Europe. They have the 2nd highest win percentage of any Bayern manager in history. And now this, Paris Saint-Germain, the Champions League holders. PSG won the 2025 final 5-0 against Inter Milan, the highest winning margin in the Champions League final history. That wasn't a fluke. That was the result of Luis Enrique building quietly and patiently, stripping out the superstars, the egos, and replacing them with a team that pressed as a unit, defended as a unit, and attacked as a unit. Dembele won the Ballon d'Or, Kvaratskhelia arrived and immediately looked like he'd been there for years. Vitinha, João Neves, Zaire Emery, a midfield so balanced and so relentless that Liverpool, one of the best-run clubs in the world under Arne Slot, couldn't live with him in the quarterfinals. That's not a team you disrespect. And yet, there's something worth noting about this matchup specifically. In November 2024, Bayern beat PSG 1-0 at the Allianz Arena in the Champions League group phase. Luis Enrique said afterwards, "I think we are very similar to Bayern Munich. Both teams won the ball, both press aggressively. The stats say we're very similar." He's right about the stats, but he might be wrong about what they mean, because there's one area where these two clubs are not similar at all. Bayern are ranked first in the world by Opta, PSG fourth. The German club have over 160 goals across all competitions. And then there's the historical record. In UEFA competitions, Bayern lead the head-to-head with 9 wins to PSG's 6. Bayern have scored 21 goals in those ties, PSG 16. PSG won at the Club World Cup last summer. Bayern won in the Champions League group stage in November. 1 game each in the last year. Everything points to the conclusion that nobody, not the analysts, not the coaches, not Opta, actually knows what happens after the 2 legs. Which is exactly where we want to be. But this Bayern team is the team that has been tested repeatedly and keeps responding. In the summer of 1971, Bayern Munich assembled what was considered the greatest German club side ever. Beckenbauer, Müller, Hoeneß, they scored 101 goals, set a record that everyone assumed would last forever. And then Vincent Kompany arrived at his first major club job after being relegated with Burnley and broke it with 5 games to spare. They are chasing the Champions League trophy since 2020, where they defeated, guess who? PSG. And with the scariest front 3 we've seen since the BBC, since the MSN, Bayern Munich are easily the best team in the world right now.